Today, we're going to bring you something a little bit different, and I'm super, super excited.
Yeah, so we're approaching the holiday season, and for us in the beauty industry, that leads to a lot of burnout just from being busy, you're getting new clients, and then it's kind of a season of like just taking care of everybody else but yourself.
Definitely the season of giving.
And so, yeah, and it really sucks because it's like we start off the holiday season burnt out. I feel like we don't prepare for the next year. And like that's the most important time for us to be on it. We have Brittney here with us today.
Hi.
She's going to be sharing 5 ways to maintain wellness and how we can apply that into our business. Brittney is leader in self-mastery, self-love, and wellness. She has a background in the beauty industry, so she can relate to the struggles of the beauty industry. So we actually wanted to start our episode off with a little moment of wellness. So Brittney is just going to lead us, and we're just going to take a little moment here.
So we're just going to start by kind of cleansing the energy, setting the tone for the day. And we're just going to say a few words of affirmations, and we're going to play a sound on the sound bath. And then we'll go from there. Cool. Okay. So you guys just get relaxed, and you can close your eyes if you want to. And then you can repeat after me. I only accept good news.
I only accept good news.
Everything is working out in my favor.
Everything is working out in my favor.
I attract and welcome miracles.
I attract and welcome miracles.
Awesome. And we can take that into our day, into our month, and into the season.
So Brittney, we've chatted a little bit before about your journey. You know, you've been in the beauty industry, you're really into health and wellness. You even lived overseas for a little bit. I'm sure like living overseas kind of started this little wellness journey. So yeah, just share with us a little bit about that.
Yeah, living overseas was definitely an eye-opener. I felt like I had lived in the same small town my entire life. So my mindset was limited, you know what I mean, to what the world can totally like encompass. So I lived in Spain for about 1.5 years, and it was just me. I was on my own. And through that, I was able to gain a sense of independence to begin to trust in myself, which definitely allowed me to tap into something new. Once I moved back to the States, I started working in fitness. And then I built like a healthy relationship with fitness. And then I also got the opportunity to train other women and try to instill that in them as well. From there, I continued working in fitness, but I worked at a gym that basically trained athletes both physically and mentally. So it was one of the best experiences of my life because I really was able to tap into mindfulness and to tap into what it meant to fully be connected both physically, spiritually, mentally. So it was an amazing experience. I always knew I wanted to get into aesthetics because I loved the beauty industry. I did makeup and different things like that. So once I moved here to Jacksonville, I went back to school, got my aesthetics license, and I started working at a medical spa that was also heavily involved with wellness. We studied a lot of different things from like hormones and vitamins and nutrition connected to how that makes you feel and like your mood. So from there, I was like basically able to just take everything that I've studied, everything that I've learned, and put it into one, and then work with women one-on-one from that.
That's amazing. Yeah, it's so much. I feel like we, as women, especially when we're busy, we just focus on like one thing. We focus on the fitness, we focus on the physical, we focus on the mental, and it's like it all like ties together. Yeah.
Like it's always like, what can I get accomplished? But it's never like, how am I feeling?
And I feel like it's ironic because like in the beauty industry, like we make other people feel beautiful. And it's funny because it's like, I know within Sierra and I's business, it's not just, we don't just help women feel beautiful physically, but we're big into the mental as well. But then we don't do that for ourselves. Like we don't take care of ourselves through
at
it.
all.
And it's like, hello, like, you know.
I was actually just talking with Dante, and he was saying how I've been go, and I've been taking so many things on. And he was like, when was the last time that you stopped to think like, okay, if I didn't have any responsibilities, what would I do for me? And I was like, wow.
Yeah.
What is life?
Yeah.
You even said in like a previous episode,
Like I used to meditate. I used to do yoga. I used to be really into my mindful practice, and I've gotten away from that. And I feel like in our industry in general,
I feel like
especially
that's the easiest
approaching
thing to
this
let go
season,
of. Taking care of yourself is the easiest thing to be like,
100%.
okay, I'm not going to wake up earlier because I'm tired.
Exactly.
Right.
I'm not going to go to the gym because I don't have time.
No,
or
I have
my
to do these
back hurts.
dishes.
Right.
Or, yeah,
Right.
right.
No, it's totally true. And I think that was like the thing that I realized, the connection between women in general is like, we're the first ones to go, like on our panel of things to do, we let ourselves go first. So it's like, okay, let's try to rescale what we're trying to accomplish here.
Yeah.
And then figure out like a routine to
Yes.
accomplish that goal, but that like allows you to have balance throughout like your life.
Yes, balance. I feel like that's a huge one for sure.
I'm really excited to hear the advice that you have for all of us. And Brittney's actually going to give us 5 actionable steps to maintain these things. Because I feel like a lot of us get on the horse and like we're good about like trying to do it, but keeping up with it is really important. And I think that's a huge game changer.
Yeah. So I think one of the first things I always like to ask people is like, what does wellness mean to you?
Yeah.
So I'll let you guys kind of answer that. Tell me what you think.
I think for me, wellness is taking a minute to check in with myself and I don't know, just like breathe and sit in stillness
Yeah.
and
that.
reassess. Yeah.
I think wellness for me is doing something for myself that isn't related to me being a mom, being a business owner, being a wife, being a daughter, being a sister, being a friend,
Right.
it's for
but
you.
just for me. Whatever that is in the moment, you know? And I think I struggle too because like I get stuck on this is wellness, and it's like, oh, meditating is wellness, or like working out is wellness, but it's like that's not always what my life can provide for me at that time. And just remembering like, okay, what can you do for yourself that only benefits you and like only
Fills
helps
your cup.
you.
That was like going back to when I moved to Spain. One of the biggest things is like I was alone. I didn't know anybody. I didn't know the language. So everything that I identified myself as was stripped away from me.
Yeah.
And that happens so rarely, I feel, where we're put in that position where you really have to think like, wait, who am I outside of being my mom's daughter or being this as a work person or, you know, who am I without any of that? And then you can really take a moment to get back into you, figuring out what you want, what your goals are, and then create the routines around that.
Yeah.
So. But one of the first things that I feel like tends to go away when we get busy is like our fitness. I think so. Because it's just like we get so busy. We're like, I'm exhausted. I don't have energy to go to the gym. Even if I go to the gym, I'm going to be too tired to do like a good workout. So I think that our fitness routine is one of the first things that kind of fumbles. So
For sure.
I think that it's important to set realistic goals around it. It doesn't mean that you have to go to the gym every single day or do a weight workout every single day. It's again figuring out what you like, what works well with your body, and what you can do for that week to still accomplish the goal, but not like overstress yourself.
Right.
Because if it's something that you don't enjoy, then you're not going to do it.
I feel like that's like where I struggle. My husband is super like, he goes to the gym and like uses weights and he wants me to do that. And I'm
not
just
your
like,
journey,
I
though.
don't enjoy this at all.
Right.
And so then I'm there and I'm like,
You know
I
what helps
hate
me?
this so much.
You actually just posted, I think on Blended, about how you were trying to take intentional 30-minute breaks to sit outside and have lunch and actually feed your body. And I decided to start like taking 30-minute breaks when I was at the Oak Street studio, and I would go on a walk and I would bring food that I could, like a snack, like something like healthy or whatever.
Yeah.
And I would just like eat my little snack and like walk around the block. And that way I got out in nature, you got to see, and it was a better way for me to get some exercise that wasn't too taxing, let me like kind of decompress.
Exactly.
Yeah.
I think it'll be nice too, like getting like us being in Florida, like the weather's been a little bit nicer.
Yeah, it's been hot.
Yeah. Like Nico's super into skateboarding right now. My son, he's 5 and we have this like skate park. And if I'm the one taking him, I'll just like sit on my phone and I'm like, why don't I like walk around the skate park? I can still see him. I can be moving around. And so like I did that with my dog the other day and it was really nice. I like how you said finding what works for you.
And it's again, that's just goes into like tapping in with yourself and saying like, what do I really want to do today? Like, maybe this isn't it. Like maybe I don't want to go to the gym and lift weights. Maybe it is go for a walk. Or we're so close to the beach here.
Yeah.
So it's like go for a walk on the beach or ride your bike. Or like you said, take advantage of while you're sitting there with your son. Like, okay, I can get a laugh in here or there and still benefit from that.
Yeah.
I think a lot of people too are afraid to kind of figure out their workout routine because they don't want to let themselves down. And so I think it's important to tap in with yourself and not worry about what everyone else is doing.
Yeah.
Don't put that pressure on yourself.
Yeah.
Let go of it and just do what makes you happy for your own health, not for like, not to be a certain size or to look a certain way, but just for your overall health, like for your stress, you know what I mean? So I think that that's important, just redefining what fitness means to you and then going from there. So
yeah, I think getting healthy with your mindset around fitness would probably be a first step. Because I actually, when I went back to the gym again, I went with Dante and he, you know, was like a D1 athlete, whatever. So he's in there like pumping stuff and like, I was like, oh, take me through a circuit.
Right.
And I was like, I'm dying. And then I was like getting mad at myself because of like, I saw the weights he was doing.
Yeah.
Which like, he's a guy, whatever. But like, I saw the weights I could do now. Based, like back then, the weights I could do when I was like a competition dancer. And I was like, I'm weak as now. Like I was like, I suck. And I started literally doing like, that was my mental like conversation in here. I was like, I suck. I let myself go. This is terrible. Like I was like, I don't even want to be here.
Right.
And every time I picked something up and it was more tiring, I just felt worse. And I was like, I don't want to do this. So I think, learning to let go of that before I even walked in the door would have been.
Because you're setting yourself up to just fail.
I did. And I did. And I think if I would have let that go before I walked in that gym, it would have probably been
it's also like, why do we expect to go from like not working out to like going to the gym like for 2 hours doing like these hardcore
and being like an athlete.
Like in what world is that realistic?
That's not sustainable. You know?
Exactly. It's true. And it's like always remembering like this is where I am now, but then you can create like a competition with yourself to get to where you want to be instead of, you know, getting in like that mindset of like, oh, I can't do this and I don't want to do it. You know what I mean? Also, one thing that is like really trendy now that I think is awesome is for women learning about like cycling your period. And how it affects your workouts.
I've been seeing that.
Oh my gosh, it's phenomenal. Like I kind of always associated like cycling your period with people who were like trying to get pregnant or not get pregnant. I guess that was the only thing I really looked at. But now I've like noticed so much since I've started doing it. I'm like, okay, I feel it coming. Like I don't feel like going to do a leg workout right now. I'm going to do the treadmill and keep it simple. And it's like, it changed everything for me because I would feel the same way. Like, why can't I lift this today? Like, I'm annoyed.
I was on my period.
I think like having that routine too, where it's not just like, I'm not going to the gym today. Like, what can I do for my body today? I was listening to this podcast actually on my walk and it was talking about like the secret to happiness or whatever. And one of them was like moving your body every single day. Also, it was comparing it to surfers. It's like surfers are like the happiest people. They have community, they move their bodies every single day, and they challenge themselves. So even remembering like through fitness, like it's going to be challenge. Like it's not going to be, if it was easy, like everyone would do it every single day, you know? So just like even breaking through that and creating that habit to where like, okay, this is what I do every single morning, or this is what I do every single night, or whatever it is, to just where it just becomes a habit and it just becomes part of your routine.
Yeah, exactly. Tagging along with fitness, we go into kind of like our nutrition and like our diet and what we're putting in our bodies. I feel like that's probably the second thing that goes, because sometimes we don't even like eat when we're so busy with like clients and running around. It's like, oh, let me just grab a bar and expect to function.
I feel like the beauty industry has made it like this,
They
like
glamorized it.
They glamorize like running off of iced coffee all day.
Yeah, it happens. Yeah, it happens. So it's just like, okay, like how can I better function? How can I better take care of myself and set myself up for success? I know everybody doesn't like to meal prep. Like I get it. It's not everybody's cup of tea, but maybe swapping out healthier options for like your snacks that you keep in your office and keep near you, so that you don't just run to McDonald's or, you know, do fast food every day. Right. Exactly. So it's like trying to be proactive with your planning in that aspect as well of like, what am I putting into my body and how is it affecting my mood? Because if you are not fully like adding value to your diet, then you're going to feel it in some way.
I've had to learn to do that from a really young age because like, if you know me, you know this, but if you don't know me, you don't. As like, I'm hypoglycemic. So like if I don't eat, I will literally pass out on you.
Oh my goodness.
Like it's happened at like a job before with like friends and now they're like scarred by it and they always bring me a snack or whatever and it's become a running joke. But like, so I'm always thinking about food and I'll be texting Destiny and she'll be like, oh, I'm on such and such client and I haven't eaten yet. And I'm like, pack a good snack. And she's gotten a lot better. She's been keeping things like in the fridge and she's been like mindfully snacking. But a lot of times I feel like if you don't have to think about, like I have to think about it.
Right.
You know, because even then
I'm just like, oh God.
So like I was thinking about having like a health issue with it. So you know, like it's got to be really hard if you're not going to pass out.
Even my clients, like when I have new installs, they're here with me for like 5-6 hours. And so I always order in lunch. And I'll order myself lunch, but I won't eat it. And they're like, are you going to eat? I'm like, no, I just like want to get this done. And they're like, okay. I don't want to stop because I don't want them to be like, why are you stopping doing my hair to eat? But they're like, genuinely like, are you going to eat?
Right. Are you okay? You gonna make it through? Like, right. Yeah. And I like to do like fun things like overnight oats. Like I do it the night before, then I'll have to think about it in the morning. I bring it with me and I'm good to go. You know, because in the morning it's like chaos sometimes just trying to get going. So I'm like, what can I do to make my life easier? I'll also do like I'll boil eggs and I'll eat the egg whites and then I'll put like spinach in there and I'll bring that with me. Just like easy things so that I at least have something. Yeah. And I'm not having to think twice about it.
Right. Yeah.
Right. Just little adjustments that you can do and try to make life easier, but also where you're still able to like take care of yourself too.
I think something I just like, it hit me. I don't know why I assumed myself like, okay, I work for myself. I make my own schedule. Okay. And like,
but
why am I not scheduling lunch breaks into my day? You know, and
you told me like, it was like, I remember this conversation.
Time is money.
That's what you said.
But like, not only is it like,
you were like, I'll get home sooner.
Am I more important?
You'll pass out.
Yeah. Am I more important than like eating or than money? Yeah. But also like when I was sitting outside the other day, I don't know why in my head, like I was like, oh my God, I'm gonna have to block out like an hour of my day. And I'm like, I can take a 30-minute lunch break. Right. Like 30 minutes. Like, let's be real.
That's the legal requirement.
Yeah. Actually, Florida doesn't have
lunch.
That's not a requirement.
Is that just for like minors?
Yeah. State of Florida.
So once you become an adult in Florida, it's just like whatever.
State of Florida is really messed up with like that stuff.
Oh, so they don't care if we eat.
Yeah.
After 18. Yeah. I just remember it was a legal requirement when I was like in like my first job.
The only
like you got leave, and I'm like, all right.
So different companies can have like, you have to
their
do
own.
This.
Yeah.
But yeah, state of Florida, you do not have to. The only thing is like you can't if you're requiring someone like on a lunch break. Like if you're giving them a lunch break, you have to like require them that they don't have to work. Basically, like if you're not going to pay them for that time. But yeah, it's pretty messed up.
So you don't have to give someone a lunch break?
No,
working full time?
No,
you don't have to give them a break?
No. You do not legally have to give them breaks in the state of Florida.
At my old job, it was like that. Like what was lunch? Like we didn't have lunch. We would eat and keep working kind of thing. So it was just like, okay.
It's crazy.
You know. But yeah, so just finding a way to find balance within your diet because there's been so many studies that correlate to how that affects like your mood, how that affects like if you have, even like for someone who has maybe PCOS or different things like that, which is stuff that I learned working at the wellness med spa. It was like some people, they weren't eating and it was triggering a flare up and like their PCOS and stuff like that. And it's like, okay, but I'm not even eating. Yeah. But it's affecting your body like negatively. So again, just figuring out a way to find balance and make the time for yourself. Like you said, even if it's just 30 minutes.
Yeah, but that's the situation that I have. It's crazy because I know that, and I still like, I'm just always taking care of everyone else. That's when I have 6 kids. I had a kid when I was 22. Like I just literally my whole life been like taking care of other people, and then like I'm the last resort. Like even when we go out to eat, it's like if my son is still hungry, like I'm giving him my food. Like I'm like, do you need more food? Like it's just such a bad habit. And then in my job as well, it's just such a bad habit.
Gotta break those.
Yeah.
Make time for ourselves so that we can be our best selves. You know what I mean? That whole remembering that mindset of everything. Moving on to tip number 3 is finding time for meditation, which you talked about earlier, and finding time for affirmations to put belief back into yourself, to trust into yourself.
Yeah.
I think is huge for everybody, but especially for entrepreneurs. It's like remembering to take a moment so you don't lose it, so that you don't drown in everything that you're doing. I think is very, very, very important. And I kind of grew up like Southern Baptist. So you mentioned meditation and all those affirmations you just did. Yeah, exactly. What is this?
That's from the devil.
Exactly. I'm like, actually, no, like it's really not that deep. Like it's just taking a moment to have
speaking truth into
and believe in yourself. Like, and so when I did finally start doing it, it was just like, wow, like I feel so calm now. I feel so calm. Like I feel like when you don't allow yourself to be removed from a situation or be removed from your family or your traditions, you are just a part of it 24/7. But when you allow yourself time to separate yourself from it and actually tap into what you want and what you want to believe, you can have a moment to be present in that. And it's very beautiful.
It is.
Anyone who hasn't jumped on the mindset train, if you're outside of it, you think those people are crazy until
you're there.
You get into it.
And then you get it.
I feel like before I started working with my business coach, like I feel like I was like into the wellness thing, but like the mindset part of like positive affirmations, meditating and journaling, like those kind of things, I was just like, whatever.
Right.
And then I started intentionally doing it and just saw like such a shift. And actually something just triggered me. We've been talking a lot about actually our episode that just went out Wednesday. We were talking about how like we've just been in this funk. Like me specifically was talking about like I just have been in this weird funk and like just don't feel like myself and like haven't been doing these things. Like I moved somewhere new. I used to start my morning every morning on my patio with like meditation,
that was her
journaling,
mindset place.
time for myself. Yeah.
It's really affected her.
Yeah. I would go out there, I would journal, I would like read my Bible, I would like pray, like have my time. And I haven't had that since I moved.
That was your use space.
Yes. And it's like I knew that. I knew like I'm not in a routine, but like it really just hit me like that's why you're feeling this way, because like you haven't been doing that.
Right.
I just wake up, I come home, I go, I get in the bed, I go to sleep. Like it's just this like cycle of like not taking time.
I mean, I think it's crucial, like you said, like if you're an outsider, you're kind of looking like, okay, woo, woo, all that kind of stuff. Until you try it.
Yeah.
And you really try it and you give it your best effort to really try it.
Yeah.
And it's mind blowing, like just taking the time, like you said, to start your day in like a state of peace and setting your intentions for your day compared to just getting out of bed and going. It transforms your day. Like, cause you're already going into your day with like the mindset of like, it's going to be a good day. And whatever comes my way, I'm going to choose to look at it as an opportunity of gratitude or a lesson learned instead of, you're having that conversation with yourself, telling yourself how your day is going to go versus allowing the day to tell you how it's going to go.
I love that.
I do that at night. It's funny because I've never thought about this, but my mom, when I was young, we like make jokes about it. But my mom used to like burn incense and candles and like, or she would light a candle in the room and like play Enya and like play with my hair or whatever. And then like I would lay down and she'd be like, okay, now think about all the reasons you were grateful for the day. Or she would be like, okay, now like just close your eyes, have deep breaths, whatever, you know what I mean? And like, I've carried that into adulthood, into this mindfulness now. I didn't realize what she was doing.
Yeah.
Right.
But that's the
Right.
part about
now that we're having even, it just hit me right now.
Yeah.
That like during this conversation, you guys are doing that in the morning. And I'm just like a wake up and go person. I hate having time in the morning, honestly. It gives me anxiety. But at night, I set those intentions and then I wake up like ready for the day. And then I know that at the end of the day, I can like work. My bed is my safe space. And it's always been that way. I play calm music. I light a candle. It's like a vibe. You set the vibes.
I love that.
Yeah.
I love that. But yeah, whether it's morning or night, I think just having the opportunity to just reflect over your day, either setting intentions for your next day or for your day, and then having the opportunity to reflect at the end of the day over what went wrong, what went right, what do you want to repeat, what don't you want to repeat, and then how to make it different, how to make it better. Either way, you're taking a moment of stillness to just reflect and to be at peace with yourself, remembering like your focus of what you want, what you don't want, what you're going to allow, and what you're not going to allow.
Yeah. I love that.
So moving into that, we talk about boundaries.
I love when all of us just laugh.
Yeah.
What is a boundary?
Right. Boundaries are they're very hard to put in place, especially with like family and people who you know, truly love and have like a personal relationship. I feel like that's my hardest area to put like boundaries around, because I don't want to feel like my mom did so much for me. Like, I've gotta like, doesn't matter if I don't sleep today, like I gotta do this, or, you know? And so it's just like figuring out what you will allow and what you won't allow, and having people on board that understand your boundaries, but also setting boundaries so that you can make time for the other stuff that we've talked about, like, you know, figuring out your fitness routine, figuring out when you're going to eat, setting that boundary even with yourself and with your clients and people around you, friends, family. It's so important. Boundaries are so important, but they are very hard. It's hard to kind of put up that wall, especially like you said, if you're always giving and always thinking about other people instead of yourself.
Yeah.
So boundaries force you to think about yourself.
Yeah.
They force you to put yourself as a priority.
First, yeah.
How do you guys feel like you do with boundaries, and where do you feel like you struggle?
I feel like for me, boundaries within my business.
She's real good.
Boundaries within my personal life.
She's terrible.
No,
She's like night and day.
Yeah.
Really?
Yeah. But I think it's because like I'm really good at like, yes, I love my clients, but like I'm really good at like disconnecting. Like this isn't personal, it's business. But
personal is really personal for Destiny.
Yeah.
So like before you got here, she just gave like a bang trim to our producer, and I was telling her, we were like all joking and laughing, but like jokes aside, I was like, this is her love language.
yeah.
And like, it really is her love language. Like acts of service is like Destiny's way to like show you her heart. And like, she will literally go until she can't go anymore with everyone, you know? So I feel like it's hard for her too, though, because she wants to be able to like give love and show love.
Yeah.
But she does that physically.
Yeah.
You know?
I struggle too, because like, I always feel so weird talking about this, because like I know my family probably listens to this, but we have these conversations. I'm the oldest. When I say I'm the oldest, I still have siblings at home, like 14 and 12.
Yeah.
And then I have sisters who like have just gotten out of the house. And so I do like to give them grace that at 20 and 21, at 12 and 14, like I obviously wasn't in the same mindset. I think it's hard for me too, because I set boundaries and it's like, oh, she thinks she's better than everyone else. Or like, oh, she's bougie. And I feel like people in my life say that to me as a joke, but like
it hurts.
It really hurts. It does.
I know what you mean.
Because I'm like, I don't feel that way. Like I really don't. Like I don't think I'm better than you. I don't think I'm too good to do that.
Right.
Or be there. But it's like I try to be so intentional with who I am, because I know who I used to be, and I don't ever want to be that person again. I used to be so toxic, and like the things in my past, like I don't want to go back there. So it's like I don't think I'm better than you. I'm just trying not to.
You're trying to grow.
Exactly.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Exactly.
And so I do really struggle. and then even struggle with, because my love language is act of service, setting boundaries where like I'm not just at your disposal of like, I can't just drop everything. Like I do have a family. I have a husband. I have a son. I have a business. There are other things in my life. Like it's been hard for me to like cut that boundary of like, yes, I care about my family and will do anything for them. But like, I also have my own life as well. I have put my husband and my son in very uncomfortable situations to care for other people. Like I had a friend living with us for a really long time. And like, when I say inconvenience our whole family, like inconvenience our whole family. And it's like, but in the moment, like I was just like, I knew this person needed me. And so I will forget about
everything
matters.
else.
Yeah.
Everything you said a lot, which thank you for sharing that, because I know it's not always easy to like talk openly that way. I don't know if it's a culture thing, but I feel this as well, that it's like I'm not allowed to enjoy my life or be happy if someone else in my family isn't. I feel like that is like a culture thing.
Yeah.
Like I can't be I can't be successful
Yes.
if they aren't successful.
God, yeah.
And
I
it's
feel
just
that
like
to my soul. Like
that's
literally.
too much to carry. It's too much
soul.
to carry, and it's not fair. Like it's not fair that I work hard or that I travel or want to do those things, and then you have the same 24 hours in a day. Like it's not
The
fair
must
that
be
you
nice
put that on
comment.
Yeah.
me. Right? Must be nice. Like
Yeah.
what do you mean? Like I remember,
Or like, oh, you living like this now or something. Like
yeah,
it's like I worked really
silly.
hard.
It's
Like
exactly.
really hard.
I feel that so much. And like, this is so sad. But like, I genuinely feel like mine and my husband's drive is like to take care of our families. But it's like you said, we all have the same 24 hours in the day. Like it's all our decision, like what we do with that, you know?
Right.
And why should I work hard just to give?
It all to somebody else.
That
Yeah.
doesn't want to do for themselves.
Yeah.
You know, that's the part. It's just like I can see if there's people who are like genuinely like doing their best and
Struggling. Sure.
yeah, hustling. Like my little brother, I love him. He's in school. He's doing everything he should be doing. So if he calls me and he needs something, I have no problem, because he doesn't ever ask me for anything.
Yeah.
It's the ones that can do stuff and then they're asking me for everything, and I'm like, well, what are you doing, or what's going on here? I remember one of the first times I went out of the country to pay for that trip. Like I was working my job. I was in grad school, and I picked up like a part-time job selling Christmas trees at Home Depot. And I did whatever I could do
didn't even know that was
to
a
make
thing.
it, me either, but I to make it happen, because I wanted to go on this trip. I wanted to go out of the country. And it was just like, everyone was like, oh, how'd you do that? I'm like, yeah, I was standing outside in the cold selling Christmas trees, and you have like the same opportunity to make different things happen, but it's just, do you want to or not?
Yeah.
Like it's not a handout. Life is not always a handout. So it's like, you don't get the right to try to push what you have going on onto me.
Yeah.
Which is why a lot of times I don't even tell people anything I'm doing.
Yeah.
Because
my husband just
I
sent me
can't.
something like that, and it was like move in silence, like, and I have, but even that's hard because then people get hurt. Like
I feel like all
when
I
I'm
did was
moving
move
into
in
my
silence.
salon- Oh yeah, you're super private.
Yeah, but Destiny has been pushing me in this chapter of my life to not move in silence.
Well, certain things, she's opening salon suites, and so, like you need to talk about it, but she's still used to like keeping everything to herself.
Like we were saying, like, what are your boundaries? Like that's my boundary.
Yeah.
It's like I didn't realize how
Not
private
letting
I
people in.
am.
Yeah.
Until it was told to me that like that is how I protect myself. And then I've learned to set boundaries in my own business, but that's been years in the making. That's just like, because my love language is the same thing. It's acts of service. So I just constantly, but it's in every part of my life. So just learning balance.
yeah, boundaries.
Yeah.
It's a big one. That one, I feel like we could have a whole episode just on boundaries.
Literally.
Yeah.
But yes, just to kind of tie it all back together, having boundaries are important so that you don't neglect yourself.
Yeah.
So that you aren't like, always tell people, check in with yourself and like with your gut feeling. If you're about to do something and you know it's going to I literally get like nauseous when I'm doing something. I'm like, I know I don't have time to do this. Like I literally don't have time, but I'm trying to. And I've like stopped doing that because I would be making myself sick.
Then you have like the conversation in your head while it's happening. That
exactly.
just happened to me last night. I was like, I need to go. And I just kept staying. And then today,
And like when you have the time for like the meditation,
Yeah.
then you have the time to check in with yourself and figure out again what you want, what you don't want, and what you're not going to do again. Because I'm like, I'll get home, I'll be like, I'm not doing that again. Like that was a
Yes.
terrible feeling. And
Didn't like it.
that Brittney is gone. We're not doing that anymore. She is removed. Then last, just talking about the balance of creating routines. So with everything that we talked about, it's all just to help formulate balance. I think that wellness is basically just figuring out a way to have harmony in your life. And when everything is in balance, then everything can flow that way. So that's what, like when I work with my clients, we first talk about like, what is your goal? And then let's figure out the routines so that you can have harmony to achieve that goal within your life. When it comes to balance, what do you guys feel is kind of like, I guess, like at the top of your list and like at the bottom of your list? Like, how do you feel with balance and like the discussion of everything we had?
I feel like for me, like I struggle with balance in the aspect of I'm all or nothing. Like I don't know how to prioritize more than one thing. So it's like I'm either all in on this, like I'm all in on the podcast and I'm neglecting my hair business, or I'm all in on the podcast and I'm neglecting my home life, or you know, I don't know how to like cut off. And we talked about routines. Like I used to have like admin days. It's like, okay, Thursdays are your day where you're doing this, Fridays are your day where you're doing this, and then when you get home, like you're done. You know, I feel like I can balance things as a general.
Like you struggle with balancing all of the tasks that you need to
But
take
it's not
care
even
of.
that. Like I feel like I can balance. Like it's not that I can't balance more than one thing at a time, but I think it's just work and home. Like
Like
balancing.
like moving them as they need moved.
Yeah.
Or even like the percentage of what you're giving
Yeah,
to
or
each.
adjusting to like, okay, like maybe this time I'm going to be working on all of this. And like, that's going to take a little bit more of my time. And then now this is going to take a little bit more of my time. And I think that also causes me to get to that like brain fog. And like, I was saying like the other day, an hour task takes me 3 hours because I'm like, for example, on the computer editing an episode. And then I'm like, we talk about something on the episode and I'm like, oh, let me go do
Google
that.
Yeah.
And I'm like spiraling to that 1 hour thing. Like, how can I just stay focused on like this one thing and get it done so that I can jump to the next one and like keep going? And I'm sure that all ties back down to how I'm not starting my day because my brain is just all over the place. Something I listened to this podcast, Mindset Mentor. He does like 15-minute episodes. I think it's every morning, to be honest. And one of the things I loved was he talked about meditating. And when I meditate, like my brain is like all over the place. Like I'm thinking about everything. And so one of the things that he suggested, which I used to do and loved, he's like, do your meditation, but keep a notebook and a pen in front of you. Don't open your eyes. Set a timer. Make sure you're still like silent. But like when things come in your head, start writing them down. Don't break out of it, but just start writing it down. And then when it's time to go into work mode, you can pull that notepad out and be like, okay, these were the things that, obviously, if you're trying to stay silent and these are the things in your head, these are things that are important, you know? So it's like not necessarily just blocking them out, but like just coming to them at a later time.
Right.
Because I would be in meditation and then I'd be like, oh,
Girl.
phone, let me do this. You know, like it's so like
That's
I'm crazy.
hard.
I said earlier, I'm crazy. My head is
Too
crazy.
ADHD.
Yeah, I'm just learning how to balance that, I think.
I think that so I also work with my clients to understand. Have you guys ever heard of human body design?
No.
Okay, you'll have to look into it. But basically it kind of goes into like your birth chart, but it's more in depth to truly figure out like your overall like purpose in life and how you handle situations and how you work best, how you communicate best. Like it is mind blowing, like when you really study it. But I think that also understanding like how you function, using it to your benefit. Like I'm the type of person that's a million things at once. I like, if I'm watching TV, I'm also typing and I have my steamer going on with the face mask. And my fiance is like, you're crazy. Like you're doing a lot. And I'm like, but this is what works for me. And this is how I get everything done. Versus him, he's like a lot more like one thing at a time. And that's it. Like that's all he can handle.
People that end up with those.
I know.
Yeah,
I know, right?
me and my
so
husband.
funny.
Me and my boyfriend.
It's so funny. And so
I'm like, you're sitting at the table for
Right.
like 5 hours just on your like Ew, what?
Right, exactly. I'm
What's
like,
wrong with you?
I'm taking a bite of food and I'm washing the dishes, and then I'm like writing down my things for the day, and he's just like, you're giving me anxiety. I'm like, it gives me anxiety to just sit there and do one thing. So it's also understanding who you are and how you are, and then basically working with that.
Yeah.
Because I think a lot of times we tend to try to compare ourselves to other people, like, oh, that person gets so much done.
Yeah.
But if you try to do it the way that person does, you don't get anything done.
Right.
You have to do it the way you do it.
Right.
And that's it. And understand yourself. So like,
And maybe that's where my whole balance situation is coming from, like trying to like be something that I'm not, because I've been told like that's not how you be productive, you know? But it's like, obviously it's not working because
I had to find what worked for me. So what I learned is if I don't put something in my calendar, like on my phone, it will not happen. So if I look at like yesterday, I literally wrote down podcasts on Buzz TV, Lash Product Blog, show a massage suite, set a big account, lease, print, like all kind. Like if I have to get something done, I have to time block for it.
yeah.
So you just have to find what works for you. And like me and Destiny have even talked previously about like journaling really helps her. Writing things down helps her. She has bought me 2 or 3 notebooks at this point. I'm serious. And they're so cute. And I really want to intentionally be like her and use the notebook. That's hilarious. Every single time, what do I do when we get together? I'm like, I don't have a notebook. I forgot the notebook. And she's over here aesthetic with her notebook, writing things down. And I'm like,
my new thing is post-it notes.
Post-it notes.
Writing stuff on my
notes?
Yeah,
Like sticky notes all over the wall.
Yeah, I'll write it down, and then like I'll get stuff done, I'll cross it off, and then I'll like put it on to another one. Like I'll literally have a conversation, and I'm talking about like 10 different things at one time because I'm just
We've
like
literally had 3 conversations going at one time. We've been texting, we've been on iMessage, and we've been on the phone.
Oh my
about 3 different
goodness.
conversations at the same time.
You guys sound like manifesting generators. So that's one of the avenues on the human body design. And that's what I am too. Yeah, you'll have to look into it and see what you are. But it's like so fascinating once you fully understand it. But it's very fascinating.
That's cool.
But yeah, again, just like the balance of everything to tie all of the points back in, I think it's just figuring out your way that works for your life and that works for who you are and what your specific goals are.
Yeah.
And figuring out how you can create routines around that, right? So it's maybe you have time for 3 walks a week and you know you're trying to get your water in and you have a few snacks. Maybe you don't have time to meal prep. That's okay. Keep a few things in your office space.
Yeah.
Maybe you don't have time to go to yoga, but maybe you have time to do some stretches right before bed. It's just figuring out what works for you and what's going to help you get to your goals.
Yeah, I love all of these. I feel like I'm definitely gonna have to like listen to this, take some notes in my notebook, and just like really reflect on the points that we've given. We also want to give you guys some resources to use. And Brittney, I know you just came out with a journal.
Yes.
So yeah, tell us a little bit about that.
So it is like a reset journal. And I basically, when making it, I wanted to create something that tackles like all different aspects of wellness. So that if you feel like you're in a funk or you're in a fog and you are like, I don't know what I'm doing or where I'm going, it gives you journal prompts to basically tackle the different aspects of wellness, but it also goes deeper into things that allow you to evaluate your patterns and your routines. So it even talks about who do you need to forgive in your life to move forward? Like what things do you need to let go of? Like what patterns are you continuing to make that you don't want to continue to make, but you're making? So it really dives deep into every aspect to give you a full reset.
Love
for like a 7-day reset to just jumpstart and get on a journey and a path of like where you truly want to be and where you're going.
I love that. And where can people purchase this journal?
It is on Amazon, but if you go to my website, it has the direct links to purchase. So yeah, you can go straight to the website link and it'll have information to purchase here. So
Cool. Awesome.
You guys, we are so excited to announce that we are hosting an event with Brittney towards the end of the year. It's going to help everyone come together, get their planning right, like we were just talking about, hinting to for 2024. It's going to give you guys some actionable steps, a way to regroup, prep, get everything handled. She's going to do some guided meditation. She's going to take the role and lead through a lot of things. We will be there in support, but we will definitely be there, you know, get our lives together right alongside you.
I think it's like we talked about in the beginning, like it's so important. We're going to take these steps and we're going to get through the holiday season without the burnout. And then before we go into 2024, we just want to set these intentions. So our event is going to be December 28th. We're going to be putting more details on our Instagram. So if you're interested in it, you can DM us Safe Space Event on Instagram, and then we can get that over to you. I'm really, really excited because I feel like goal setting, especially in the beauty industry, get put on the burner because we're so tired from the holidays.
There are memes about it.
Yeah.
Iced coffee and burnout.
Yeah.
Running
So
mascara.
I'm excited for that. We want it to be super chill, like girls' night. It is going to be small and exclusive though, because we just want to keep that like personal touch and like
safe space.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah.
So you're definitely not going to want, as soon as we post about it, like
Limited
you're not
stock.
going to want to wait on that for sure.
So how can our listeners connect with you and keep up with everything that you have going on?
Yeah, so my website and socials are all I am Shanice. Everything is located there. So yeah, I'm super excited for the event as well.
Yeah.
It's going to be a good time. It's one of my favorite things to do, to just have like a group of ladies together. Like you said, like a safe space to manifest, set intentions, get organized before the new year, and really tap into who we want to show up as. So
I genuinely cannot wait for this.
And you have a special promo for our
she didn't
listeners
mention
as well.
yes. So anyone that purchased the book, you get one session half off. So usually it's $100, but it will be $50 as long as you mention the podcast and show proof of purchase. Then we will get a session for half off.
And part of our event too is included in the cost is you're going to get her book as well. So if you're interested in coming to the event, then we're going to kind of take some time to like go through that journal together. So that'll be really cool too. I'm excited for that.
So if you missed any of that, you can find all of the information located below in the show notes. And we look forward to meeting you guys at the new studio.
Thanks for being our blended babes.
AKA BBs. Join the conversation and let your voice be heard.
If you're ready for a revolution, don't forget to leave us a review wherever you're listening and follow the journey on Instagram at blended_podcast.
Share this episode with your BB who is ready to beautify the beauty industry and rewrite the standards.
Get all the tea from this episode and more in the show notes.
Bye.